those of you who follow me on Twitter at Academy Aibo will have seen the tease. So I'm going to be talking about my three little collections here, little frames, and these contain some of the most important cards to me over the last decade or so, and these essentially chronicle my journey through starting out as a relatively normal kid and ending up as a total fucking degenerate who makes YouTube videos on children's trading card games. So that's the preamble. Let's get started talking about them, because it's probably going to be a long one. Okay, so let's get started. I don't want to spend too long on this because I'm slightly concerned that people will get bored. So I'm just going to talk through kind of each of these and why they're here. There might be some anecdotes associated with them. It'll depend on the card. So we'll start here with Sunblast. Now this is a card from Doctor Who Battles in Time, and if you didn't grow up in the UK and you weren't between the ages of like 9 and 13 in the mid-2000s, then you will have absolutely no clue what this is, and I can't really blame you. It is one of the most niche card games that ever came out. It was very, very popular for a short period of time during Doctor Who's sort of golden era, and everyone in my primary school played this, literally everyone. I remember the most exciting time of the week for me back then was when I would get my new, or it was every 2 weeks, I would get my new issue of Doctor Who Battles in Time, and it would come with a singular booster pack. And that was the only boosters I got. I go into rather more detail in my video where I'll actually unbox a whole box of this, where I pulled this Sunblast. So I would recommend everyone goes and checks that out. I'll try to remember to leave a pin in the top right hand corner to the video. But essentially, yeah, this was like kind of what started it all, because technically it would be Pokemon, but I never played Pokemon as the card game. Certainly not till much later, and didn't really leave much of an impression on me. Whereas this I absolutely did play. I played this with my sister, I played this with my friends, so this actually is there. But moving into more traditional card games, the first deck I really built for Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Dark Worlds, and I still remember in October 2011, or perhaps November 2011, going down to my local Argos and begging my dad to please buy me 3 copies of the structure deck, and my dad asking me, why do you need 3? Like, they're the same, aren't they? And me having to explain that, yeah, but they only come with 1, and like you need a play set and blah 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 blah. And yeah, but I had so much fun with Yu-Gi-Oh back then. I used to play it in school with a lot of the older kids, and there was like a little group of us, and we'd meet at lunchtimes just to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was a fun time. And I discovered locals that way. I didn't even know that was a thing people did. I had no idea there was such a thing as a locals. So, you know, we're really going back at this point. Yeah, I remember taking this deck to locals and never doing too well because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I, to an extent, had no real interest in getting better at the game. I just wanted to play. But this was always a really fun time. Next, I've got Noble Knights of the Round Table here, and this isn't so much the card as the deck itself, and I thought this is nice because it has like most of the minute, it's this nice like group artwork. I fucking love Noble Knights. They are my favourite deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! I love them so much, and it pains me to no end that the only time I ever got to play them were when they sucked. But I really, really enjoyed this deck, and to this day I still own it. One of the very few decks I still own from across my card game career. I kept this one around, and also I'm probably one of 6 people on the planet who really, really likes the platinum rarity and wishes it showed up more, which is, I am told, a very controversial opinion, but there we go. I also really like gold rare, because you can tell, I just really like those rarities. So perhaps it shouldn't be a surprise that I think Bushiroad high rarity cards look way better than basically anything else. But anyway, that's for those two. Let's move down a little bit. So these two, I'm not going to dwell too much on how I started Vanguard. The point is I started Vanguard, and the point I really got into it was the start of Link Joker season, and I really, really got in heavy. I was buying cases, but this happened to coincide with my first ever trip to Japan. This was 2014, I believe, or 2013, around that time. And this was when these two released, or rather actually all 4 of these were released in these special limited edition starter decks that came with supplies, like a deck box sleeves, and these special promo versions. So that's why these cards are Japanese, because these are the original cards I bought back then. And these have been sitting in my loft in a old binder, literally like maybe since about a month after I got them, and I hadn't touched them, and so they're actually in pretty good nick. And certainly these two, which form this joint art, which I believe was only available in that deck. In fact, these are probably quite expensive. I should have a look. Um, but yeah, so these are quite rare. And these are the only printing. So I have all of these, and they mean a lot to me. Liberators were a deck I really enjoyed. I fucking loved Raging Form. It was one of, if not my favourite decks, sort of ever in Vanguard. I enjoyed Daikaiser a lot. I played it a fair bit, but unfortunately, like, I was starting to sort of fall out of love with Vanguard around when I started playing it, so I never really was able to play it as much as I wanted to, but still super cool. This, though, Galaxy Blaukluger, my number one deck in Vanguard history. I fucking love Blaus so much. My favorite memory of Vanguard is some random. It was either I think it was a locals. It was like some random round in locals, and riding up to Stern. Swing into my opponent. He drops 2 pass. I go crit, crit. He's pushed to 5. Restand Stern. Swing again. I put everything on Stern, of course. So my opponent drops his whole hand and goes 1 pass, and I hit the magical 3rd crit, pushing my opponent to like 9 or something. It was pretty beautiful. And yeah, that's moments like that were peak Vanguard if you were on the dealing end rather than the receiving end. So yeah, that's my Vanguard section. Then here, this is from the Dragon Ball Super card game. This is a little bit out of order, this bit here, but it kind of slotted in best there. And the reason this is here is because I really, really, really love Dragon Ball Super while it kind of still existed in the UK. I don't even know if anyone plays it here anymore, but it's really small if they do. But during that period, during that summer, or during that first half of that year, before I left for the summer and I came back and basically the game was dead. I love this game. It was super fun. I played Cell. I loved playing Cell. It was so fun, just making my opponent hate themselves. It was fantastic. And this is actually a custom-made leader card that I got. So it's actually 2-sided, as you can see there. But yeah, game. I'll probably never play the Dragon Ball Super card game again. There are too many issues I really have with it from a purely purchasing the card standpoint. To sort of forgetting the issues with tournaments and the community size here. But anyway, good memories. Now on to a majority of my card game career, and that's Buddy Fight. I'm going to try and speed run this because I could really talk about this for a long time. This is the first ever promo that was released for Buddy Fight, so you got this for showing up to the pre-release trial deck tournament, I believe. So yeah, I got that. This is the first ever deck I played, and this is the last ever deck I built as well. So the first deck I built and the last deck I built. I have the Rebi here to kind of signify that. And also because I didn't want to spend 30 quid on an SP, which because I sold my SP because I'm an idiot. But anyway, well, I actually had 5 SPs, but not the point. So yeah, I fucking love this deck. I got second at my first ever event, which was the Buddy Challenge in 2014 with this. So that was awesome. This is Pillars. This is the deck I bought and sold the most. I think 3 or 4 times I built this deck, put it together, and then sold it. And this has probably made me a very large amount of money, so that's why it's there. Dungeon is here to represent. So here, Dungeon, the absolute nemesis of year 1 Buddy Fight, just completely dominant. But then coming back in Miracle Impact is why I have Bladewing here as Dungeon Enemies being one of the most fun decks I've ever played. Super good, and I think very underrated at the time. Still annoyed I came 9th in that event, but there's a story behind that. And I'm sure I'll put it in a video someday. This is my favourite deck in pre-Ace Buddy Fight, I would say, or one of them. And yeah, the 100 Demons, I loved them. I think they got done super dirty. I don't know how they end up so garbage. I had this awful habit of basically, this is the one villain deck I built, and this was the only villain deck that just sucked. And fast forwarding a little bit, this is for Sun Dragons, which is the only protagonist deck I built, and it was the only one that fucking sucked. So at this point, and these were consecutive years. So at this point, I was like, "Oh, I'm just cursed. Whichever one of these I choose to build, I'm gonna get fucked on." So I just decided not to build any of them anymore, unless I absolutely had to. This is Dark Heroes. This is Triple D. This was a super cool deck, and I remember being in Singapore when this released. First and only time I've ever been to Singapore, and hitting up every single card shop I could to try and get these foils, because it was a sort of novel experience for me, being able to actually go to card stores and buy singles. That's not a thing you can really do in the UK. Shadow Shades are here because I took these to a Continentals and I overrated them massively. But I did not do well at that Continentals. But deck was good. Just it was I didn't test anywhere near enough back then, and I sort of suffered the consequences. This Purgs here kind of represent my my sort of return to being pretty good at Buddy Fight. There was a long period where I basically was kind of coasting and just only topping, and with the occasional top 3 finish. But usually it was topping to a top 8. I got a 3rd place with 100 Demons and stuff, but it was mainly top 8s and the 2nd place here. But this was the only match I lost the whole day was the semi-finals, and the dude who I lost to won the whole event. So yeah, I lost to the guy who won the whole event. So to an extent, it is what it is. It's fine. But I really love this deck, and the fact that the set this came out in made Darkness Dragon World the only real relevant world, and then the next set that was completely invalidated was kind of funny. So this is actually the first half essentially of my Buddy Fight history. In terms of the length of the game, but it definitely encompasses the most decks because I was rather more frugal following that in the ones that really meant that I really played. Here's the final one of the right. I'm just gonna. So this is the deck that led to the first ever ban list in Buddy Fight, and widely regarded as the thing that killed the game. Personally, I think the whole of X is what killed the game. So, yeah, but this did give me my first ever win, and this was a team event, so basically everyone was playing this somewhere in their team, but I think the amount of labbing me and the boys did to get this to basically the ideal list was pretty nuts, and I think we very much deserved the win. My favourite deck, my tied second favourite deck of all time with 100 Demons in Buddy Fight. Absolutely love the shit out of this deck. Super fun. Had such a good run with it. Really enjoyed the deck building and basically taking it and flipping it on its head and playing it like people weren't, and getting rewarded so much for that was awesome. This is my Worlds promo Gaga. I got this for the 2018 Worlds, and I kept this one. I sold my 2019 Worlds promo because I got $100 for it, and I was like, yeah, fuck that. I do not want this promo enough to refuse 100. So I sold that. But here, this, because I actually played Gaga, I played Magic Gaga, and I really, really liked Magic Gaga. I ended up having to sell it because I needed money at the time. But yeah, so I kept that, and that's good there. This is my only winners promo, monster card. I got this for winning France and absolutely destroying Nathan with a classic loyalty play. Which was fun. This represents, in my opinion, the best deck ever designed in any card game, which is Black Org. I will die on this hill. Black Org is the best. Black Org proves that Bushiroad, the card designers who work there, are capable of such incredible things. I've never seen a deck with so fun, so skill rewarding. This deck, it's the perfect control deck. It directly scales with player skill and format understanding. On a level no other deck I've ever seen in any other card game, obviously excluding Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, because I never really played those on a high level or very much at all. But in any of these other games I've played, nothing touches it in terms of how much it rewarded that. So yeah, absolutely amazing. I still own this in absolute max rarity. I'll probably make a video showing off that collection when I get my frame together. I'm planning on framing all this stuff, so I'll make a video when I do that. and that'll be super cool. And this is the last ever Buddy Fight promo. This is the last one. Technically it isn't, because like there's shop promos and things, but no, come on, fucking. This one says this is like thanks for playing the game, and the first one is like start playing the game. Like, come on, it's a nice little way to bookend a significant period of my life playing this game. And the final 3 cards here are from Zenonzard Battlespeed collab, Battle Spirits collab. I'll probably replace this one with my Elements, the album Elements promo when I get that. When I see my friend from Japan who ordered it for me. I don't know if I'm going to keep these here. I'll inevitably end up needing another one of these for Gate Ruler and Weiss, and now I'm back into Vanguard, so relevant things there. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this little trip down memory lane for me. It was fun to make, and it was fun to get all this together. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and join my Discord server, links in the description. We have a fun time there, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Cheers.